In the last video, we created a bunch of cool automations inside of ActiveCampaign to handle all the action series and the buying that happens within our sales funnel here. Now, the thing we need to do is connect Optimize Press and Optimize Member to ActiveCampaign so all those fancy automations can actually trigger. And this video is going to be a little intense as well. I'm sorry for the technical stuff, but once this stuff is set up and in place and working, it's done. You don't need to mess with it anymore. So that's good news. All right, I'm just going to dive right into it. In order to connect Optimize Press and Optimize Member to ActiveCampaign, we're going to use their API notification tool. And basically what this does is every time one of these actions are performed by one of our members or one of our customers, it sends a notification to whatever URL we identify or place in here. And you see there are certain parameters, so we can send information like email, first and last name, CC apps or custom capabilities, or our packages. So we can send this type of information anywhere we want. So we need to create special URLs that'll send the data to ActiveCampaign. So what do these special URLs look like? Well, here's a document with them, and I'll have them below this video as well. So that way you can go ahead and use them and edit them to suit your needs. So this is what the URLs look like. We're going to put in 3 of them. One for registration, so every time a new user registers. One for payment, and one for EOT, deletion, or refund. This essentially means anytime somebody asks for money back, this URL will be triggered. But we'll start at the top here, and I know that this looks crazy as heck right now, but it makes sense and it's actually pretty simple once we go through it. So right here, this https crazyfunnels.com/connection.php, it's a file that handles this information. So all this stuff right here is information we're sending to this file, and this file tells ActiveCampaign to do something. In most cases, it's add a new user and add certain tags, which of course would trigger the automations that we just made. And essentially what we need to do is make sure that the information we're giving to this file is correct. And we're going to walk through that in this video. Now, this file, connection.php, is on my server, so crazyfunnels.com/connection.php, and you can use my file. That is perfectly fine. It doesn't bother me one bit. However, more than likely you're going to want this on your own server, and you'll be able to download the connection.php file down below this video, and then you just upload it to your server, so then your website would be https://yourdomain.com/connection.php, and then the rest of this craziness. And if you don't know what the heck I just said for downloading this file and uploading it to your server, ignore it and just go with what I have. Use my file. That is perfectly fine. All right, so this first thing here is the action. And as you see, it says registration because this is the registration URL. Then we have one for payment and one for refund. And so that's the action we're telling Connection PHP to perform, that this is a registration. Now we need AC URL, which is ActiveCampaign URL, and ActiveCampaign API. And we can get that from ActiveCampaign. So we're going to go to ActiveCampaign. You'll log in. You'll go to up here, My Settings, Developer, and you'll see API Access. You'll have API URL right here and API key right here. And you just copy the URL. And we're going to paste it in there. Actually, let me make a copy of this real quick so I don't edit what I'm working on. Oops. Paste. Go grab the API key. Paste it right here over your AC API key. And then we need to replace list number. So go back to ActiveCampaign, go to your lists, and find the list that you're wanting to subscribe people to. And in the bottom bar, you'll see, I'll zoom in with when I'm editing the video, but you'll see that it has a link to sem.activehosted.com/contact. Yours would be a little different. And then question mark list ID equals 1. So 1 is the list ID. If I want to send people to this list, it would be 4, but I want them on this list. So it's 1 is my list ID. So I'll go back to my handy dandy URL builder thing. And 1 is my list ID. And that's it. Those are the only values that we need to edit. because optimize press and optimize member are going to assign the ones that are in parentheses or in percent signs right here. So these are going to be automatically filled in for us, so we don't have to mess with it. So we can just go ahead and copy this, head on over to our back end here, and this is the registration notification. We'll paste the URL in there, and we need to check this URL to make sure there are no spaces. For some reason, sometimes spaces get copied and pasted. I think it's because I'm using colors and bolds and all sorts of random stuff, and when I paste it as plain text, it doesn't know how to be handled. So make sure there are no spaces in there, and everything looks good for the registration notification. So I'll save all changes, and then we would do the same thing for the payment link here. And so I'm going to go ahead and just knock it out real quick. So payment URL remains the same. That's easy enough. Delete that space while we're here. API key remains the same. List number remains the same. All this stuff is pre-filled by optimize member. So this is the payment notification. So payment notifications. And we'll just paste it on in there. Double check to make sure no spaces were transferred because that could break things. There's a space. See, there's random spaces sometimes, which I don't know. Maybe he's pasting from a Word document. I don't know what the reasoning is, but you don't want them in there. So that one looks right. I'll save changes real quick, just in case something explodes. I don't want to lose anything. And I'll do the same thing for the EOT and deletion refund. So paste it on in there. Same URL. Same API key. Same list number. And all this other stuff is pre-filled in for us from optimize member. So we'll go back over here, and it's EOT deletion notifications right here. And we'll paste it on in there and double check for any spaces that might have randomly been transferred. Double check this one. All right, looking good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to test these links out. I'm only going to test one of them right now, but you'd probably want to test them all before you move on to the next step. I'm just going to test this EOT deletion refund one real quick. So what I'm going to do is actually give these values, like actual real values, because optimize member isn't going to assign them right now. So fill in my user email. Fill out my user first name. Fill in my user last name. And I'm just going to copy it. Come into my browser, paste it on in there. Double check for the space issue because that would break things like we said. Oops. I'll try and figure out a way to fix that spacing thing with copying and pasting by the time this course goes live, but just so you know, there may be spaces. Press enter. And result failed. You're not authorized to access this file. And the reason that this failed was because my API key is incorrect. I put a different one in there than my actual one because you're not supposed to share API keys. They're private. And if I shared my API key, you could hack me or something. Of course, you need to know what to do with it and all that good stuff. But regardless, I'm going to go grab my real API key, plug it in, and press enter again. So give me a second. All right, so with my real API key, we see the result here was success. So essentially, this was posted to this account right here. So what I'm going to go do is check my account and see what the heck is happening. And I should have a tag assigned to my account that says refund, which I do. So that's good. That means that the optimized press and optimized member to active campaign connection is functioning. So that is good stuff. Again, I would go ahead and test all these links to make sure that they're all working. And all you need to do is just add in real content, because optimized press and optimized member will not be assigning anything at this time.